I'm Fran Ippenson. I'm the president of the library, and this is Mary Richard, and she's the vice president of the library.
And I'm in charge of the fund drive, which is going to be coming up very soon. But Fran wants to talk a little bit about the history of the library.
The Shell Point celebration of 50 years is also reflected in the library. The library has actually existed for 47 years. And there were 200 original residents who decided they had too many books and decided they would like to start a library. And that was back in 1971. And since then, the library has grown. It was in the mid-70s, they gave us a small area for the library. And then in 2001, they enlarged it to our present facility that we have today. And from those 200 residents that originally started the library, we now have more than 8,000 items in the library, 8,000 titles, and we have 60 volunteers.
About the first 8 or 9 years of the library, the only way they raised funds was through just like bake sales, white elephants, just normal little things that did not really produce a lot of income. And starting in 1982 then was the official first annual drive, which raised $5,580, which was very good from the lower number of residents that were at Shell Point at that time. Also in the 80s, the library expanded to the pavilion and to King's Crown so that the people there would have access to reading materials. Monthly book talks started in the 80s. Which, as you know now, are always conducted by a resident, describing a book, and they're always followed by refreshments, which we're big at in the library. We have candy here, we have refreshments after our monthly meetings.
Originally, when the library started, we used these cards, which everyone is familiar with from junior high and high school and checking out books. And then in 2012, kicking and screaming, the library went into the digital age, and we now have a system where all of the 8,000 items have their own barcode, and they went through a tremendous amount of effort to get all the computerized items in the library. And we have now a little tab here that each resident that uses the library has, where we can electronically check out their books.
Just as Shell Point is celebrating their 50 years of existence, and they have improved, they have adapted, they've modernized, they've become more beautiful over the years, so has the library. Adapted to new things and is always interested in providing for our patrons what they want to read. Reading a book is kind of fading away, being replaced by Kindles and other electronic items, but there's many, many people who still like the feel of a book. So I would encourage our residents to consider donating generously to our fund drive, which will be beginning March 7th through Wednesday, March 7th through Wednesday, March 21st. This is the yellow flyer that you received in your mail. It has the envelope there for the donation, and we would appreciate your considering donating, and we thank you in advance.
I think we also need to emphasize the fact that Shell Point gives us this area for us to use for our library, but we are entirely independently funded.
Yes.
Residents are the ones that enable the library to exist in the form it does today. So it's very important for the continuation of the library that we have participation by our residents in our fund drive, because this is the only source of funding that we have in order to run the library.
In addition to the facilities that we've been maintaining for over 20 years at the Pavilion and King's Crown, we have a genealogy area in the New Woodlands. It's been reconstructed, which we supply them with materials. And we also have libraries in the Springs and the Arbor. We want to thank you in advance for your generosity in supporting all the library's facilities and the library's functions and the library materials, which are available to residents and to staff. And we thank you in advance for your generosity. And remember to refer to this little flyer that you're going to get in the mail. And thank you again for your generosity.